Welcome back to another episode of the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Eaton, and I'm super excited for our guest. I feel like I say this every time. I'm super excited for our guest because I just get to meet the most incredible people, but you guys are going to love this one. I'm going to sit down today with wellness chef, nutrition coach, and founder of her Nourish Code, Jennie Casselman. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
We've been trying to do this for a minute.
I know, welcome to my life.
How did you even get into this world of wellness cooking?
Um, my life inspired all of these things, and as I look back through my career and how it's evolved, it's all been built around like my life experiences, good, bad, and indifferent. And frankly, a lot of my work came from a lack of solutions that I found for myself. And my passion for nutrition and wellness in general started when I was in my late 20s and I found out I had melanoma. I had just been laid off from my job, so I didn't have health insurance, and I was 27, and I basically went to the dermatologist, and they said, "This is serious." I went to Duke, so this was not just, you know, some random doctor. I went to Duke, and they said that this is serious, and you need to do something about it ASAP. You got to have surgery. And it scared me a lot because nobody had ever talked to me like that, and that's not what you expect to hear in your 20s at any point. And so it scared me so much. Reevaluated everything I was doing in my life. Like, what was I doing? I was partying still. I was in my 20s. I was partying. I was drinking. I was eating whatever. I was exercising, but I wasn't really taking care of my body. And so that kind of jump started it, which led to culinary school. And every step along the way from that point forward has been me creating solutions for what I personally needed. And so most recently, I turned 43 last month, and I started pumping the brakes on this whole, hormone imbalance, cortisol racing. My body's changing. I'm a moody mess. What the heck is going on? And after doing some research and, talking to doctors and finding out that, honestly, the root of everything was chronic stress. So, wow, my life has stressed me out, and I allowed it to carry on within my body, and it was starting to negatively affect every aspect, my physical body, mentally, and my hormones were out of balance. So I was like, what are we doing to help me? What are we doing to help other people? And so the more I dug into hormone imbalances and the root of that, yes, our age, perimenopause, that plays a huge role, but also our lifestyle and how we take care of ourselves or lack thereof. And so I developed her Nourish Code as a way to teach women the importance of lifestyle and mental health and how we take care of ourselves as well as our families. We play a lot of roles, as women and a mother and a wife and business owner. I mean, just you keep going down that list.
Yeah.
And when we avoid or negate taking care of ourselves first because we're taking care of everyone else, then we're the ones that suffer. And then everyone else suffers along with us as well. Because I don't know about your household, but mama is the wheelhouse. We hold it together. We do all the planning. We keep it moving. You run out of toothpaste, the tooth fairy's not delivering it. I got to go buy it, So all these little things that you're used to holding together, when your body starts to fail you and that brain fog sets in and all these other random symptoms, you're not performing at your best mom duty. So I really wanted to like extend an olive branch, if you will, to women that feel like they're drowning in symptoms and life in general, and that it doesn't have to continue that way, and that there's small tweaks that we can make just to our everyday routines, supplementing here and there, working on our nutrition and movement and mindset that can really just reset our bodies and our minds back to who we were before the chaos happened.
most women that I know I work with, the people who are drawn to this podcast relate to that. I think that women in general, in this generation and time period, there's just such a demand on us, whether we're working or running a business and we're doing all of the things at home. We are
Mhm.
mentally loaded. And I
Oh.
think it's really interesting that you talked about brain fog. I know that's something that I've dealt with over the years, and that, as the years have gone on, it's like, is that something that's just a part of perimenopause? Is that something that's part of this or that? Or is this part of like mental overload and just not
Mm.
having capacity? What is your take on brain fog? And what are some like things that we can do today to start to curb that a little?
Brain fog is real, and I think it comes from a lot of different aspects of our life. I think it does play a huge role in the perimenopause world as our bodies are changing and our hormones are screaming out of control, and perimenopause in general is the ebbs and flows of our hormonal changes. And so you might feel good at one point and then you're like at the rock bottom again. You're like, I thought I fixed that, because that's where I've
Yeah.
been in the last year and a half. I thought I fixed that. And so a lot of things that I was trying to do. So I started to decrease my caffeine intake. I started taking mushrooms, different types of mushrooms and adaptogens. So I was doing my mushroom coffee. Lion's mane is really good for focus and cognitive health. And so I started to utilize these supplements. And while they helped, I also realized that I was still running my race at rabbit speed, trying to just throw some lion's mane on top of that and keep it moving. Like I ain't got time to slow down. And my body physically crashed on me this year, just a few months ago, and I've had a lot of pain. And when our bodies tell us when something's wrong, and
Oh,
if
for
you
sure.
feel pain, your body is yelling at you to pay attention. And I was like, okay, all of these things that I'm doing, I've had really bad hip pain in my right hip. That's stress.
Oh, yeah.
And it led to low back pain, chronic stress. And so making changes to what I carried mentally was the biggest game changer for me. You can supplement all day long, but until you take control of your to-do list and how you prioritize your mental load, and as a mom, you carry the mental load as of your family most likely, because you're the organizer, you're the grocery getter, you're the play date dater, you're doing all these things. Oh, and wait, we have to take care of ourselves too. And I was just overwhelmed. I was maxed the out. And it took my physical body being in so much pain to where I could barely get dressed for me to go, I'm doing too much. And so I had to reprioritize. And I think, it reminds me of when the twins were probably like a year and a half, maybe 2 years old. We never went out to eat because it was just too chaotic. And we had gone out to eat lunch, and these two older women came over and they were like, oh, they're so cute, blah, blah, blah. One of the ladies said, do you work? And at that time, I was still working a corporate job with 2-year-old twins at home. Like, who chose that insanity? I did. And I said, yeah, 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 I'm working. And she goes, I just don't know what it is about your generation and why y'all think you can do it all. And I was offended because I was like, my generation, because we can do it all. And then, who cares about my mental health? Just flush that down the crapper. Who cares about my body? My kids are happy. And I will never forget that conversation, because I had to really take that and walk it back and go, really? Do I need to do it all? No.
Sold the story that we can do it all, though. I mean, that is in your Instagram feed. That is just the rhetoric, the message that we are in a phase where
Hustle.
we can have the career and have the home life, and the reality is that we are constantly switching our focus. And when we
Mm-hmm.
don't slow down, what I'm hearing from you is that like we're putting band-aids on bigger issues and then crashing
Absolutely.
because the band-aids fell off.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you just step over that, that grenade and keep moving. And it's like, oh, well, it's still there. Like you can keep it moving, but eventually it's going to blow up. And most likely it's not going to be pretty when it does. And so that's what I was ignoring, a lot of the signs that my body was sending me, because I'm like, I got a program to do. I got this to do. I got to post this. I got to interview this. I got to send this to this person. And I was not slowing down at all. And so my solution to that is not to just hang it all up and quit. I don't want to quit everything that I've worked so hard for, That means a lot to me. So personally, this is for Jennie. This isn't for mama. This is not for wifey. This is not for friend. This is for Jennie. And I just had to recognize where I could take a step back in a few areas. And at the end of the day, it comes down to, is this a hell yes, or is it a no thank you? Like, if I am not excited, if it doesn't just light a fire under me, and then it's not a hell yes, and that's a no thank you for me right now. And I've had to turn down a lot of opportunities and experiences and events because I just don't want to overload myself and get back into a place where I'm not okay.
I love that you're protective over that, because I think sometimes we recalibrate and then we dive
Mhm.
back into the same chaos that
Yep.
creates feeling. And that knowing the difference, right? Knowing what your nervous system looks like when it's calm, knowing how you're taking care.
Mhm.
And I'm like such a big stickler on a morning routine for
Yes.
myself, because it's almost like, here's how I empty the cup before I fill it back up.
Yep.
And do you have like any kind of morning routines or things that you do in your personal life that you swear by that help you with this?
Me personally is I have to get alone in the morning by myself. Like I like to go sit outside on the front porch. Typically I end up with an audience, whether it's the dog or the kids or my husband. Um, they, as hard as it is to get alone in your own house, I know it's kind of difficult, but I have to start my day with intention and with talking to Jesus. That's my routine. I have two devotionals that I read every single morning, and I've got a few other books that I read like in conjunction with that. But I start with reflection and prayer. And what I really love about, I've had this one book since 2008. Boy, has my life changed since then, but it allows me the opportunity to reflect every single day at how far I've come. And even if I feel like I'm not doing enough, which I got to get out of that space personally, I look back and go, oh my gosh, in 2011, in 2012, like before I even started culinary school, my dream was to write a cookbook. I
Yeah.
did that. My dream was to be on a TV show. I did that. And so I keep being ambitious and wanting to chase all these dreams, but then I have to stop and recognize that I've already accomplished so many already. And I need to be thankful for that and sit in that space and be like, wow, God, like all of these dreams from 15 years ago have come to fruition. And I was so busy in the midst of it that I forgot to stop and look back and go, wow, that was a dream of yours in your 20s. And now you're in your 40s and you're living it. So, um, quiet time, prayer, and reflection has been something that's been part of my daily routine always. And it plays a really big role in how I start my day and how I feel. It really just starts my day out in a much more positive manner than the chaos that can happen when you got small kids and dogs, and it's like, oh, take the dog out, the dog pooped on the thing, and the kids need this. Oh, well, you don't have the shirt, gotta go wash the shirt. And it's you can easily just ruin your own morning by not starting it properly. And then I love to take long walks. We have a beautiful neighborhood, and we have a trail system, and just getting out in nature and listening to music that makes me feel good and uplifted and happy. And I really exercise in the morning helps me. I mean, it jacks up your dopamine. Like, talk about, my coffee don't do that for me. Like, getting out, moving my body, and being in nature really makes me happy. And so that's how I try to start my days every day. before emails, before text message, before social media. Like, you can't start your day with somebody else's business.
100%. And I love that you talked about that in the importance of actually creating the time. I think that women are so busy that it feels like we don't have time, but the reality
Oh,
is you have to create the time.
yes,
You
we
have to pencil yourself in. You have to
do.
find in it a morning routine does not have to be long. I have a long morning routine because I work from home and I can. I can
Yeah.
start I can start my day at 10, right? Like I
Mhm.
know that I can create a cushion for myself, but that has not always been the case. And so even if you don't have morning time and you work at, 6:30 in the morning and you're like, girl, if I wake up at 4 a.m., I'm not gonna
Yes.
feel well, right?
Yeah, sleep is important. I will never tell somebody to negate your sleep for a morning routine. I did that. I used to wake up before my body was ready just so I could work out because I needed to get that 45 minutes cardio in because I was chasing skinny. And that was also really unhealthy. So that morning habit, although it temporarily gave me some, dopamine hits and I was feeling good, like I'd lost some weight, and I was like, okay, it was actually wrecking my body. And I didn't realize that what I had thought were healthy habits that I was so insistent on sticking to were not healthy for me anymore.
Yeah. It's funny, a couple things, like, I realized that my working out over the years has switched to, like, goal-oriented working out, so, I'm planning on this big hike in Bryce Canyon in Zion, and I've done it
Yes.
before, and I freaking almost died on these switchbacks, like, it's just, like, this really steep incline, walk, and so, like, I've been going to the gym to train to
Mhm.
complete a goal, or something I do is aerial silk, so
Yeah.
when go to the gym, I do the things that I know are gonna make me stronger so I can, like, complete more things more smoothly. So,
Yeah.
I think that that's been more nourishing for me personally to, like, look at, like, what am I doing and why? And
Hmm.
not to be skinny, or it's not to
Yes.
because I ate too much yesterday, it's because I have big goals for myself, and this is one of the ways that I can focus on reaching them. I think
I
that
love that so
I
much.
you know?
It absolutely does because I come from the, fitness world and health and nutrition, and so it's all about like what are we eating to be skinny now? What workout are we doing to lose weight and like look our best? And when you change your mindset from chasing something that is, I mean, if you've never been there before, like I've always been fairly petite. I gained a lot of weight whenever I had the twins, and I lost it and then gained some and lost it back. And but I knew what my body was underneath it all. And I think when you're in a position where you've never really had that goal body or you've never felt healthy or fit, then you're chasing something that you don't even know like what the end goal is. So you're like, I need to get to this certain number on the scale. Well, have you ever weighed that? Like, is that a healthy weight for you? And so that's what, when it comes to working with women around nutrition and fitness, it's a very tricky conversation because I never want my clients to think about, my body. I got to get this body to look good. And so I can take a picture in a crop top and I'm 45. Like, no, not my goals anymore. My goal is that I've got 2 8-year-old kids that still want to play with me and want to wrestle around on the floor, and I don't need to throw my back out. I need to be able to like keep up with them. I want to play basketball, I want to run around with them, and I need to be strong, and my body needs to be cared for so that I can pour back into them. So changing that mindset around like goal oriented fitness, that's awesome. I love that.
And just like to talk and touch on something in terms of like weight and like looking at a scale. When I moved here, I weighed like 130 pounds, and I
You're
over the
tall.
last yeah, but over the last few years, like I'm like at 143 right now, but I'm strong as shit. Like, my back
Yes.
are insane, and so there's part of me that was, like, wrestling with that for a while of, like, how do I get back to that? And at some point, I was like, I can't have the muscles I have and be that weight." Like, that
No,
doesn't
you
even
can't.
make sense. So it's funny because when I think especially like millennials, like Gen X, millennials, like we all have been, and I had this conversation with a different nutritionist about how, I was watching The Devil Wears Prada and they were telling Anne Hathaway at a size 6 that she was like pretty much obese and couldn't be in the
Oh yeah.
fashion industry. Like we grew up with
With the
so
Kate
much
Mosses.
body, yes, so much body
Uh-huh.
shaming. And so like part of the work that we're in is detaching from the things we knew and redefining
Mhm.
ourselves. So like what does health look like?
Yeah. I mean, and that is a big mindset change, and that's something that I've worked on a lot personally in the last 2 years. It's just, you know, removing systems of belief that I had developed about myself, what other people had told me about me, and what I was choosing to believe. And then I went, wait a minute, like, no, no, like, why? I question authority. I've been in trouble so many times in my, it's like, yes, I have a problem with authority. I remember a business manager telling me that, like, one of my first jobs, he's like, I think you have an issue with authority. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you don't want to listen to me. And I was like, because I don't agree with you. But you start to believe these things about yourself, and then the things you pick up from the outside world, what people say to you, and then that becomes your narrative that you speak all day long in your brain. And it's like, well, when your inner monologue no longer matches your outside, then you got some work to do. And I buckled down and kind of started digging in deep, and like, where do these thoughts come from? Like, why do I feel this way? Why am I chasing these goals? Why am I chasing these people? Why do I want this versus that? It was skinny, Diet Coke, Nutrisystem, fake food, fake food in a box that you added a little bit of water to. It's like astronaut food, and a Diet Coke and a cigarette, and that was your lunch break. And it's like, no, that's not. I mean, it was all these cardio classes. Cardio, cardio, cardio. Girls didn't lift weights. Like, we just ran because you just needed to be skinny. And that was never ever my desire. Like, I hate running. Like, I don't enjoy like punishing my body. It's like, but I like to pick up heavy stuff. I like to lift weights. Like, that was something I enjoyed. And I think the mindset around like, oh, I don't want to look bulky and I don't want to like be too muscular. I do. I want somebody to look at me and second guess whether they should mess with me or not. If I'm out in public, I got my kids, like, did you see these? Because if you want to approach me or try to harm us, then I'm going to come at you like a spider monkey and I'm going to own it. So that's my goals now. I don't care about what the number says on the scale. I have a threshold. If it gets to be above a certain number, I'm like, okay, let's reel it in. What are we doing? Are we not paying attention to what we're eating? Are we snacking too much? Are we eating it late at night? Like, whatever that is. But I want to be strong, and I want my kids to look at me and say, like, mommy's strong mentally and physically.
Yeah, and we're talking about limiting beliefs and we're talking about like the importance of taking care of yourself and what you believe about yourself. What do you feel is the relationship between our nutrition and our mental health?
It is a direct correlation to your mental health. Your gut and your brain are connected, and you can speak more on that from your neuroscience perspective. But, what we consume, whether it's beverages, food, and and what we see and hear visually, gets into our brain. But, your hormones are created in your stomach, your happy hormones. And when you don't give your body these micronutrients and then the macronutrients, like, oh, we need fiber, we need protein, we need healthy fats, we need carbohydrates. Like, we need carbohydrates. I feel like I just need to have a meme that says, we need carbs, we need carbs, we need carbs, we need carbs. Like, women need carbohydrates, and these healthy fats also help our brain development too. So, eating for your mind, eating for your mental health, God, like, let's just start a whole podcast and write a cookbook about that. It
What are some shifts that like the listeners can make today? Like what are, if you had to say, here are some things that you can do that are subtle ways to incorporate better nutrition into your meals, what would you encourage them to? do?
I think some very simple swaps are, looking at what you eat on a daily basis. Like, do you have a diet that's full of ultra processed foods? Are we eating a protein bar, a packaged protein bar for breakfast? Are we eating a frozen meal for lunch? Are we eating takeout for dinner? Evaluating like what it is that you are consuming will help you to look at that and go, okay, I can make some small changes here. So starting your day out, I know a lot of people aren't big breakfast eaters, and a lot of people subscribe to this intermittent fasting. And I've done it before, and frankly, I did it too damn long, and it caused some negative side effects. And so, although I find it beneficial as you on occasion, and you kind of cycle through, I think starting your day with a solid breakfast that's full of protein and healthy fat not only gets your mind going, it gets your gut going, it gets everything in your body starting to move in the right direction. And I find, just like when you have your like morning routine, that when you start your day eating clean, eating healthy, eating for your body, then you're more inclined to do that later on in the day. And studies show that the more protein that you have at breakfast, the less likely you are to snack and binge eat later in the day or choose an unhealthy option. So I am a huge eat your breakfast, ladies, advocate for first thing in the morning. And then snacking. I mean, the snacking industry is absolutely insane, and it's a money grab. Oh my gosh, like even healthy snacks, because we buy packaged snacks. Like, I'm not saying you got to make everything from scratch. I buy packaged snacks for my kids, to take to camp, school, and stuff, and just to have on hand for convenience. But when everything is out of convenience, you got to recognize that that convenience comes at a cost as well. So, eating at least one homemade meal a day, very important. Starting with breakfast, a good solid start to your day mentally and physically with the food and mindset, kind of gives you that jump start of a successful day.
I am not a cook like you. You are obviously an incredible chef, and I always like am drooling over your stories, and I just want you to come cook for me every day, and I just want to make that happen for myself. But something that I do notice is that when I cook at home, I feel better. Even if I make something that's a little bit more,
Hmm.
whatever, I just feel like healthier, better, and I like the process of it. Like
Yeah.
I grew up in a house with parents who made like frozen like fries and fish sticks for dinner. Like
Yeah.
that was kind of the cooking extent that I saw in my life, is that there
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of homemade meals, not a lot of healthy snacks. I remember I took a nutrition class in college, and I realized like, oh, like cosmic brownies weren't like a snack, they were a dessert, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it is like, what did you grow up with and how does it like develop? But I've like found so much enjoyment in just chopping shit up. Like there's little
I
things
love
about
just.
the process of cooking that has like grounded me in ways that
Mhm.
I didn't expect, I guess.
Yes, it can be fun, and I think a lot of people, just like anything, like exercise. There's some people who are like, I don't like to exercise. I don't enjoy it. There are tasks in life that are good for your overall health and wellness, like cooking, learning how to cook, and exercise and movement, that you can make fun. You can make it your own. Like, it doesn't have to be like everybody else. And when you are not having fun or you don't enjoy it, you're not going to want to do it. I don't enjoy like watching a class on TV and like doing the motions. Like, I don't like that. I want to just kind of freestyle my workout and go work out, and like write it out myself and do it that way. When it comes to cooking, I don't like to follow recipes that have 35 ingredients. Like, that makes me feel overwhelmed, and I immediately am like, no. But I turn on some music and I jam out and just like have myself a good time. And so I think when you find a way to enjoy the process, it doesn't have to be your number one thing to do, but find a way to enjoy it. If you love spending time with your kids, get the kids in the kitchen. Like, I love having my kids in the kitchen, but sometimes it can be chaotic and really obnoxious as well. Like, Instagram, my website, guess what? That's all marketing. Like, I edited the hell out of that video before we posted it. Like, yes, my kids dumped something in the floor. Like, yes, I lost my cool. yes, that didn't turn out the way that did. You know how many videos I've made and the food did not turn out the way that we thought it's going to turn out? I didn't share it. I share the good stuff. So it's learning to love the process and creating it in a way that's sustainable for you. Taking out, like, delegating the parts that suck. Like, if you hate grocery shopping, fine, do Instacart. They'll buy your groceries for you and drop them off on your front porch. Like, just modify it in a way to where it's enjoyable and it fits into your life. But being able to do at least one home cooked meal a day, like whether it's breakfast or dinner, is makes such a big difference, not only in your pocket, but also your overall health.
Yeah. I know that you were on, was it Next Level Chef?
Yes, yes, Next Level Chef, season
Well,
3, baby.
can we talk about what that
Oh,
was like for you?
it was one giant, what's it called?
Syndrome?
Imposter syndrome. Cause I'm like, you sure you called the right person? I thought it was a complete scam. You get all kinds of stuff in your DMs and email, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I ignored the email and the messages for at least a month. And then I thought, well, this might be legit. And I finally got on the phone with a casting agent, and she was like, oh my God, we love you, blah, blah. I'm like, you don't know me. And so I just kept trying to, like, push it out, push it away. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is something I've always wanted to do. And couple months passed after I did my initial, like, casting interview, and I got a phone call at like 6 o'clock at night. And I'm cooking dinner, and it was the director of casting, and he was like, congratulations, you're in the top 30. And are you available to fly to Dublin, Ireland in 2 weeks? I got kids. They were starting school. I was cooking dinner. I was like, yes, yes, I can. And yes, sure. And I did it scared. I did the entire damn thing scared. I had no idea what to expect. It was the biggest healing experience that I did not sign up for. And it it changed my life, not because I won, not because I got a title, not because I became famous, because I did something that was scary. It was my dream, and I fucking went for it. And when I got off that plane and they had my little name on a placard, I was like,
Me.
and then I was in a hotel room alone for weeks. And I've not been alone since before my children were born. So 8 years or more. I've not been alone that long. And we didn't talk to anybody. We couldn't talk to anybody. When we were not filming, we were in our rooms. And I had the isolation was unreal. I cried so much, and it wasn't out of, like, I wasn't scared. It was just like, oh my gosh, I'm alone, and I'm thinking, and I'm doing this process, and I was wanting to. We had homework, so I was like in the zone, and there was a 5 hour time difference, so, like, talking to my kids was very challenging. And then I was looking around, I'm like, half these people don't have kids that were on the season with me. And I'm like, there should just be a mom version. Like, can you do this and parent internationally? 5 hour time difference, then kudos to you. You get like an extra 30 seconds to grab your ingredients from the platform, But it was a wild whirlwind experience. I never thought I'd be standing right in front of Gordon Ramsay and him explaining to me how to not burn chicken livers. And I'm thinking, I've never even cooked these damn things. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. It was such a cool experience, but the biggest learning experience about, like, myself and who I am and what I'm capable of doing. And when I got back, I was a changed person. Like, it changed me. And like I said, it wasn't because I won $250,000 or got my own TV show. It's because I was in, I felt like I was in a refinement period of you're alone, and I'm reevaluating what I thought of myself. Because here I am in a boring country by myself. My family's on the other side of the world, and I just had to sit with myself. Ooh, that was uncomfortable.
I don't think we get enough time, especially as women, to sit with ourselves. Like,
Absolutely not. I
and I
mean,
think,
silence is rare in my house.
well, and I think that there is just this constant, like, especially once you get married and once you start a family, there is this constant need to be taking care of other people, to be considering other people, to be accounting for other people, to be responsible for other people. And so
Oh,
just
yeah.
to have that lifted and to be able to
Mhm.
like, hone in on yourself, that's
Yeah,
power.
it is. It really truly is, and I found that in a hotel room in Dublin, Ireland.
I love that. What are, just to close up, what are maybe three things that you feel like women need to hear in regard to the work you do?
Mm, man, you know, I think the core of her Nourish code of who I am and the mission, like whatever I put out into this world, is meant to show women that you are capable. Like, we know we can take care of the family. We know we can take care of the kids. We know we can do all these things. You are capable of living your best version of your own personal life. It's not your best mommy life. It's not your best wifey life. Like, you still matter as an individual. And like your dreams, I said this whenever I did the show, like your dreams don't expire. They might be delayed or put on the shelf because you had kids and got married. But I want women at the core to know that they are worth it. They are worth the time and the energy that it takes to take care of your body. You're worth a financial investment, and that is hard when you're a mom and you got a house and business and cars and kids, and it's like, oh well, do I really need to spend this much money on myself? And I think a lot of women choose not to invest in their self-care, and I'm not talking about going to get your hair done and your nails done and a massage. Like, those are all great too, but like therapy. Like, are you willing to invest in therapy for yourself? Are you willing to invest in a gym membership to help, or a physical, a personal trainer, like whatever those things are? I want women to know that they can overcome where they've been.
Love that.
We all have shit. Our whole life experience is full of landmines and shit. Like, it happens to us all. Are you going to stay there and wallow in it? Sorry, that's a southern term. Wallow around. Are you going to wallow in it and let that be your legacy? Or are you going to overcome it and capitalize on it and make it your future? And then overcome, you're capable of, and you're worth it. It doesn't have to be, you know, a Botox and hair done party. I learned how to cook a healthy meal that my children ate. That's an
Yeah.
accomplishment. You know,
Yeah.
you meal prepped and you took your lunch to work this week. Hell yeah. You got up early and you went for a walk. Hell yeah. Like, find those hell yeah moments in your life and go for them. And if it doesn't light you on fire and make you excited, then kindly just no thank you and step away. And that goes for people too.
That goes for people too. I know we've had those conversations, right?
Oh yeah, wait, that's a whole nother.
The whole podcast.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it comes down to letting yourself be supported. I think moms, especially, are running around supporting everybody, and they don't typically have men
Mm-hmm.
to lean back on.
Yeah.
Um, Having and hiring a coach or a mentor, or getting into a program like her Nourish Code, like
Mm-hmm.
that is saying, like, I'm ready to let myself be taken care
Yes.
of. I'm ready to not always have all the answers and have to do it all
Yes.
myself. So I've loved this conversation. You're amazing. And I know that people are going to want to work with you. I'll make sure to put everything in the show notes, but quickly, where can they find you?
They can find me on social media, Chef Jennie Casselman. I'm also, her Nourish Code is on Instagram as well and Facebook. And my program is launching again. We're going to do a couple of challenges. And so that will be up and ready for folks to sign up starting this week. So Yeah.
Amazing. And like I said, I'll make sure to drop everything in the comments. Let us know what you think about this episode. Let us know what you got out of it. And as always, keep this podcast going. It's always so wonderful if you share this podcast with somebody you love, somebody who needs to hear it, and give us a good positive review and subscribe.